Hey, happy Friday, everyone. Hope you are doing well. It's a beautiful Friday morning here in San Diego. Uh, it's been hot the last couple of days. We are in at the end of February, and it's been summer-like weather. But today it cooled down. It cooled down back to normal for February for this time of the year, and it's my favorite type of weather actually. So I'm so happy. And yeah, this is in the raw, unscripted, unpracticed, unedited conversation. We've been talking about the sayings of Jesus, the things that he said. And today we are reading out of Matthew chapter 12, verse 50. And he said, "For whoever does the will of my Father in heaven is my brother and sister and mother." And so he is responding to a question, an earlier question. Let's put it that way. And it sounds, if you read this as as it is by itself, you're thinking, he's not recognizing his family. He's not acknowledging his family because, he's saying that his family, his brother, his sister, and mother are the people that do the will of his Father. And so, what does he mean by that? This has caused different opinions and even controversy, because people say, well, Jesus is not acknowledging the family. He's not he's not for the family. He's putting ministry above the family. He's putting religion above the family. But no, that's not what he's doing. And what I want to do is I want to read it in context. And it says, here's the whole incident. While Jesus was still talking to the crowd, his mother and brother stood outside wanting to speak to him. Someone told him, "Your mother and brother are standing outside wanting to speak to you." He replied to them, "Who is my mother and who are my brothers?" So he's asking a question. Pointing to his disciples, he said, and this is where the verse that I read, "Here are my brothers, for whoever does the will of my Father in heaven is my brother and my sister and mother." So what does he mean by all this? Well, what he's saying is, we got to understand that he's talking to the Jewish culture. And in the Jewish culture, people believed that that they had favor with God, let's put it that way, or they had a free passage to God because they were part of the lineage of Abraham. And Abraham, as you know, was given a promise, and if you were part of that lineage, then you said, "I have a free ride to heaven." And so what Jesus is teaching here, he's taking this opportunity to teach a lesson. He's saying, it's not about what family you belong to. It's not because you're part of a certain family that you have a direct passage to heaven or to God. You have to do the will of God in order to be able to be part of his family, to be part of him, to be part of God, to be part of, to be worthy of him. And it's something that he was trying to break with that stigma, that tradition, that belief, that oh yeah, I can do whatever I want because I have a free right to heaven. And sometimes we kind of think about it the same way. Oh yeah, I practice this religion, or I believe this way because it's what my family has believed. It's my family tradition. I do this because of my family, and it shouldn't be because of your family, because then that becomes religious. And as you know, Jesus detested the religious, or that attitude of the religious attitude. And so, sometimes we kind of hide ourselves behind that and say, yeah, well, it's been in my family. This is my family's belief, and so I'm following this religion, or I'm following rituals. It's not even religion, I'm following these rituals, these traditions, because it's been in my family. And and when it comes to God, when it comes to following Jesus, when it comes to having a relationship with God, there's no family. It's a personal thing. It doesn't matter if your dad is a prominent or well-known leader in a certain church or in a certain organization, a religious organization. It doesn't matter if your family has a history. Your pedigree doesn't matter. What matters is that you have a relationship with God, and it's a personal thing. And that's what Jesus is saying. It's a personal thing. These people that are following me, these people that are my disciples, these are my family, because they're doing the will of God. And we all have decided to do this by our own will, by our own desire, to follow Jesus and have a relationship with him. So it's not because my dad or my grandfather, it's because I decided that I needed to have a relationship with God. And in my case, for example, I'm a third generation Christian. My grandfather was a missionary in Mexico. My dad was a pastor. I've been called to that. I've received the same calling, but I can't, I can't use that to say I've got it made. I can't use on my mom's side the same thing. Third generation. It's not about what my family has done or where what credentials I have, what family credentials I have. It's about my relationship with God, and it's got to be a constant thing every day. And that's what Jesus is saying here, right? For whoever does the will of my Father in heaven is my brother, my sister, and my mother. That's what family is, when we do the will of God, when we, and of course, he's not undermining the family values. I value that a lot, with my family, with my children, my grandchildren, together with my wife, we value that so much, and we spend time with our kids and our grandkids, and we love doing that, and we just, we are part of that unit that is so strong and so beautiful, so important to us. But when it comes to serving God, when it comes to having a relationship with God, we can't do things because our family has done it, right? It's an individual thing. All right. Well, I hope you have an amazing rest of this day, amazing weekend, and we will talk to you soon.